determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it.
This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the black point of view.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones here, and welcome. Oh, I gotta get my camera centered. I am centering everybody else's stuff. And we're here at the Black Westchester Magazine, the year in review. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things that happened this year and might happen next year. And I got a great panel here. To start off, we got ladies first. Tasha Young, she's out in the community of Westchester, and I said, "Come on, we need a sister's point of view because there's a lot of things that went down. We gotta hear, we gotta hear from the sisters to talk about." I got my brother Dow Davis from Peekskill, and we got and he put some fire to some people, man. He shocked the world. He shocked the world in Westchester, coming out for Mike Lawler, and we got to talk about that too. And that's good though. Black people, we have to diversify. We just can't stay in one political party. We have to diversify. I don't care what people say. We got to be in all the parties that have power. And I got my big brother here, man, from the Grand Council of Guardians, Charles Billups. He's gonna give a different view because he's not from Westchester, but there's some things going on, man. In New York City, we got to talk about too. Especially, they just served Alvin Bragg, the Trump administration.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about that too. So we're gonna have a great show, and I want to thank all of y'all for coming on, and I want to thank everybody that's watching. We didn't really promote this as best as we could because we had the show yesterday with the PBA presidents from Mount Vernon, and we could start with that. Yesterday the PBA presidents came on, and they talked about the conditions of the police department. They talked about for the last couple of years. I know for a fact. We had the current president and the past president, and the past president even sat with the black pastors. I was there and explained to them, and this is before the DOJ even came in, and explained to them what was going on, and they sided with the mayor. And now we got this report, and it puts a black eye on the officers, but it really puts a black eye on the police department that historically has been black. And the significance behind that. You know, even the panel here, we can't say Black Lives Matter, and uh, we can't call out racism in a police department when a police department that has historically, you know, when you got a black mayor, you got a black city council, you got a black board of ed, and you got a majority of black police department and a black commissioner has a report that they're violating black people. You know, the standards have to be higher. Anybody wants to go first after that? Oh, I can't hear you, Charles. You got to come off mute. Hold on. Did you take yourself off mute, Charles? You still muted.
Not no more, I ain't.
Oh, there you go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was saying ladies first, but it's
Oh,
yeah, you know, I'm trying to give props to the ladies. You know,
go ahead, Tasha. What you want to say?
Thank you. This is not a topic that I'm very well versed on, honestly. I would have to do a little bit more research. So,
Mhm.
with a room full of law enforcement, I respectfully pass it right on back to you, Charles.
You know what? I'll jump in if you guys don't
Yeah.
mind.
go ahead.
All right. Well, I've organized a lot of rallies against police brutality over the years in Westchester and other areas, and been a part of panels. And from my experience, the solution really isn't black officers, and I think Mount Vernon is proving that. A lot of black officers, once they become officers, turn blue, and there are a lot of people, black, white, Latino, who should just not be police officers. And my son works he's in the airline industry, and he works in airports. And I told him, I said, you're not going to see the cops in the airports around the United Nations that they put in our communities. Some of these some of these cops are just brutal. They should not be cops. And so it feels like Mount Vernon, for whatever reason, hired a bunch of cops like that. I mean, it definitely starts at the top. If your commissioner or chief looks the other way, doesn't reel them in, doesn't push community policing, doesn't hire from within the community, they don't know the kids, the parents, the community, you have these problems. But at the end of the day, I've never really felt hiring more black cops was enough, because a lot of them would just turn blue. Hiring black cops and proper training and more loyalty to the community, I felt was more effective.
Mm.
Put it this way, I would say a little more. It's much more than that. Number one thing is the police culture. If you can't get past that, forget about everything else. I mean, this is a culture that's deeply rooted for over hundreds of years, and this is a process that goes on, regardless what color you may be. Or I'll put it this way: I would say majority of the individuals who want to be accepted into law enforcement and particularly policing tend to fall into this culture where they feel they need to be part of it. They simulate. That's basically what it comes down to. So it's more than just color or training. I mean, you can give all the training in the world, but the moment they hit the streets, the training goes right out the window. And
Mm.
then it goes back to the culture of how the officers normally work among themselves, and they work out the details among themselves. And it also stems. This culture also stems from up on top, and it filters its way down below. So the key thing is now is that if you're really talking about making a change, here I'll give you a scene out of the Ten Commandments when God had set the people out there in the desert for 40 years to allow those old ones to die off,
Hmm.
allow young ones to go into the new land. That's what has to happen with
Right.
policing today. And
Right.
in order to change that culture, because otherwise than that, it's just going to be passed on. In order to change it, it has to be wiped out completely and come in with new ideas, new thoughts, new ways of living, and people, and they have to bring in people who knows the community, grew up in the community, treat the people fairly, not that it's us against them anymore. That has to stop.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Tasha.
Damon, and Charles Darrell, I really hesitated to comment because this is the same thing we always say. I mean, like, sometimes I'm like, am I in bizarro world? Because when we say this, we know this works, then somehow the tide goes into some kind of regression that's exactly the opposite of what we said it should be. We see mass terrible policy outcomes for our people, but these policies that are bad that we know are coming will also be supported by Black people and other people of color. So it's like I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to say anymore about people and their
Right,
behavior.
right,
I mean, it's a part of the process. We talking about politicians who want to look like they're doing their job. So we want to clean the streets and get all the crime
Right,
off the streets. We want to bring down crime and get those real horrific crimes down to a level where we could, where everybody can walk the streets safe. Then that means you got to hire more cops. You got to put more cops on the streets.
right,
You're talking about taking monies away from the communities and putting it into the police department. You're talking about militarizing the police departments because they want to combat the
right,
crime. And you're talking
right,
about all these other elements they are constantly bringing in. And I'm not saying they're all bad. No, no.
right,
I mean, some work, some don't work. But the issue is now is that it has to be a constant response to all of these things
right.
on the idea of how we're going to move forward in the future, because those discussions are not being had.
True,
no, they're not. No,
true.
no, no, they're not. And two things is happening. Full disclosure, everybody knows my wife works for the department, and a lot of the violators was allowed to retire. You
Mm,
know, a lot of the violators don't work there anymore. They're sitting home collecting their pension. And as JJ, the PBA president, Sergeant Gene Jerome, he said that it's they don't the majority of force only has 2 years on the job. So none of these officers have anything to do with that report.
Yeah, but my question is now that's fine. But
Right.
the question I want to ask, are they learning new ways of dealing with the community,
Exactly.
or
Ex-
are they learning bad habits?
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
is it going to be a push to write more C summonses to give out more tickets because you want to get promoted or move up or get that gold shield? Or are you going to put it this way? I can recall when I was talking to someone and they said the cops in the city, this is a few years back, called himself doing the slowdown. And they said, well, my question to the people was, well, did crime go up? No. Did more people get arrested? No, the police slowed down, but nothing happened. Obviously, by them slowing down, it's not improving it because people just not doing anything bad during that period of time. A
Right.
lot of the interactions sometimes tend to be caused by the other side. So the issue is now is that if for instance that there are cities out west where there are no police departments at all. Is one particular one right out there in Washington where the police department is not there, and the people are policing themselves, and
Mhm.
mhm,
and the crime is not high. People are not being molested, raped, mugged, killed, and
right.
things like that on great numbers. But the issue is now is that by giving these things back to the people and allowing the people to dictate on how it works or how it should work, it should be a model everybody across the country should be thinking about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Love
Absolutely.
that.
And absolutely. Ron Hampton you know, one of the largest advocates of community, the actual community policing themselves,
Hmm.
uh, and the police are the last person that you call, you know,
Right.
and so he has always advocated for that for Black communities, you know, but it's our culture, man. We just got to look at our culture in policing ourselves and handling ourselves. Like we got to go back to the basis of family and community and having a standard of living in the Black
Yeah.
community before we could ever get to that point. That's why I think you know the whole defund the police and all that was just a mistake.
It was
And
a mistake. It was hijacked from its original intent a great deal.
exactly,
Well,
Ex-
it was part of the movement. It was
Yeah.
it was a battle cry
but it
or
was a stupid battle cry.
what you
Yeah,
say?
it was a
It
stupid
was
battle
it
cry.
was a stupid battle. You got that
But
idiot out in the Bronx, Hawk, talking about we don't need police, and in the Bronx where it's high crime. Then what are you going to do?
no, what you're saying is correct. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's just that can things be done a little differently? Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, New York City pay. The NYPD budget is $11 billion.
And it was only six back then, not too long ago.
You understand what I'm saying? Oh, and that's not including the future budgets and things that's going to come up. Now, could they use a different phrase other than defunding the police? Yes, they
Yeah,
could.
it
Uh,
was that was the
can,
problem.
can they take a portion, small portion of that money and use it maybe towards the community to do some community outreach? Yes, they could. Uh,
That's what should
can
have
can
happened.
they offer other things? Yes. Is it a great need to be more militarized? I mean,
No,
it's good to
no,
have intelligence. I mean, it's good to have intelligence knowing
Yes,
when threats are going to come or people are doing things that's going to hurt or harm where you live at. No, that's a good thing, but it should be more dialogue on this whole idea of this because it was a movement and the movement moved on and now you don't hear it anymore.
right, right, because it just just like and I had the discussion with people and I just didn't get it. When they started pushing Cop City, right? I asked the person. I said, "Well, what the hell is Cop City?" And he says, "Oh, well, they're building this big training unit for police." So I said, "Well, how many cops does Atlanta have? Atlanta has 2,000 cops." I said, "Well, where are you going to train them?" And that's the whole police department, right? And I told the person, "Well, I said, well, you in New York." Then I guess New York City has Cop City because their academy is 2,000.
No, it's
Huh?
well right now they're about check this out. Based on what you just said, they're about 7,000 short.
Exactly.
1,000 short of people that has retired over
Right.
over the last several years. Based on the numbers and the information that's been given out, they averaging somewhere over 200 people a month that are literally retiring and leaving.
Right. But what
Leaving-
I'm saying is that they're protesting the training unit. And I said, well, where are you going to train the police? If you got a class of 2,000, of course it's going to be a huge facility. I said, clearly you haven't been to NYPD training. Because if you're protesting a training unit in Atlanta that their police department their whole police department is 2,000. So maybe what they're training 200 the most at a time, right? NYPD does 2,000 in academy,
well, lately the numbers have been a little lower than that.
right?
Because a lot of young people today don't want to be cops, don't want nothing to do with law enforcement.
Right,
Well,
exactly,
a lot of young people don't. They're thinking about other things, and no, they're just thinking about other things.
Right. But
And
that's not something to protest, though. That they're building a facility. You should be happy that your cops are being trained.
I mean, the thing is now is that you always need to update. I mean,
Right.
whether it's your home or buildings in your city, you need to update every once in a while. You gotta increase or make things better, especially in today's time when you're talking about using a lot of technology, using a lot of different methods. Hopefully, that are not deadly. That's not going to be killing people. More or less trying to slow things down or deter people from doing wrong. I mean, those are the things you should be talking about and trying to embrace and bring in. And those things cost because people are going to charge you. You can't get those for free.
Right.
The organizing sector is protesting the cop cities because they're slated to be very close to communities of low income and communities of color. So, what a lot of people are hedging against is the feelings of being surveilled in their own communities by police trainees that are also militarized in their communities now.
Well, I mean, it's cheap real estate. I mean,
I
take
mean,
care of
that's another conversation, right?
right,
Maybe we
right,
need to talk
right.
about
Yeah,
economic
Well,
development.
but see, I feel different. I don't want you asking my own personal opinion. I don't want the police departments where I live at. I want to live. I want to be residential. I want to be able to see my neighbors without the threat of some occupying force coming through the neighborhood. No, that's just not the American way. No, I don't want to see it. It's the same concept of now they want to close Rikers and build borough jails in
right,
our communities. They're not going into other communities. They want to put them in
right,
our community. So we have to see correction buses or people yelling out the window when you walk past, or and pray to God it's not in your backyard where you
Right.
walk outside your backyard and you look up and you got inmates looking back at
right.
Mhm.
But we don't vote.
you. Yeah.
See, here's the thing. We don't go to city council meetings. We don't know. We don't even know it's planned until they start putting the piles in the ground, right? Because we didn't show up. Some of the things that happened to the black community is our fault.
I feel like that's the conversation, really.
Right. It's our fault. We don't show up. So if we look at those areas, how many people actually vote? Right? How many people actually vote? And
Yeah,
that's the problem in Westchester. And that's strictly the problem in
no,
Westchester County.
but I say it's more than that because a lot of times we do vote and we get these people in there and they flip on us.
Well, then you got to get them out real quick. The only way a politician do right is that he's scared that he's going to lose his job.
Well,
Period.
no, yeah, yeah,
Period.
I agree, but
Communities have to start putting the fear of death in these politicians.
well,
That they're going to lose you.
no,
You're going to be out.
but see, what the biggest problem though is a lot of these politicians they become more loyal to the party than to the people.
Well, the people are a lot more loyal to the party than the people. See, when the synagogues in Westchester rose up, they said community before party.
Well,
They
not in
had two
our
websites
community,
that said
not
it.
not in ours, not in ours.
Exactly. Their agenda was to vote for their community, not the party.
No,
What their community needed.
no, what you're saying is correct, and I'm not broad painting all politicians. No, you
No,
do have some that once they get there, they forget about you because power corrupts, or they think they have power, or they think they have some kind of leverage, and you supposed to bend to their. I mean, you supposed to bend the knee to them, and it's not supposed to be like that. I mean, they should be more concerned about what's happening in your community. They should be more concerned about what's being built in your community. Before it's even built, they should be coming to the people and asking them, "What do you want? Do you want to see this here?" Because if
right.
not, it's not going to come. I
Well,
mean, that's
right.
what representation should be about.
No, absolutely. Down.
Yes, sir. Yeah. All right, yeah, I'm listening to this, and these are all good points. Obviously, I've attacked police brutality from a different angle in the communities that I'm active in, which
Mm.
is in the Hudson Valley. And so, I just recently talked on my program about district attorneys who are elected officials,
Hmm.
and I asked my listeners, how many times has a candidate for district attorney knocked on your door and say, "I want your vote"?
Right.
And none of them could say they recall a time. And I said, that's because they in the other community tell them how they're going to protect them against you. So I try to get people involved in paying attention to district attorney races. I try to get folks in our community to pay attention to the fact that you have lawmakers who've taken a lot of money from private prisons to cut programs that they know increase crime and profit.
Right.
Biden just pardoned, commuted the sentence of a judge who made millions of dollars sending our kids to jail, for profit, selling bodies. And so the police training, the police city and all of that is part of the problem. It's really addressing the symptom, but not the problem. The problem is us being locked in, locked out, feeding uh, white fears, getting elected on being quote tough on crime, building the prisons not to put their kids in, but to put our kids in. And so
Right.
we have inferior education. We have no community programs right here in Peekskill. One of the reasons I supported a Republican congressman was because a community center that I and members of my group marched for, picketed for, and fought and got built. They put us out in the streets and let immigrants take over and play soccer while our kids was running the streets getting into trouble. So you have to, the policing and brutal cops, police brutality, training, black, blue, whatever, is just addressing symptoms.
Right.
And until we flex our political muscle and say, where's our jobs? Where's our business opportunities? Where's the programs for our kids? Where's our opportunities to get into school? Where's financial literacy? Where's home buyers? Again, I'm not bashing illegal immigrants. They're not my enemy, but they come here and they're given money to buy houses. First time home buyer. We died, bled for this country, fought in these wars, and the Democrats have given us nothing in return for our votes. And I've vocally said I left that plantation. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to vote for a Democrat, but I'm never going to be for a Democrat who ain't for me. Period.
Like
Yeah.
I said to Damon earlier, with friends like some Democrats, you don't need enemies.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I think the party has to change, and on the national level, it's done. Right. I really think that the Democrats on a national level is done because it's amazing how many. I was watching some think tank group, America, whatever, and they just had a conference, and it was amazing. You have MAGA for Palestine. Like I'm bugging out. I'm like, are you kidding me? You have MAGA for Palestine. You have them talking about the destroying the military industrial complex, spending too much money for war. And I'm like, what? Like we what party is this? And they hijacked everything that the Democrats said they stood for has literally been hijacked. Now, whether they're serious about it, I don't know. We shall see in 2025. I don't know. But the talking points is crazy. And they hijacked everything that the Democrats have claimed. They hijacked the unions. They took the unions away from the Democrats. Just took them away on a national level. Locally, it's coming if they keep doing what the Nationals done.
Well, I mean, Damon, it's no more than them being more proactive, them being a little more aggressive on their mission to stay ahead of the Democrats. It's just them being who they are. They're always planning next week while some of the Democrats ain't wake up to talk about tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree with that, and to take it a little further is, and this is what I'm saying to people, and I've been saying this over on my podcast for a couple of years now. Um, you can ridicule Donald Trump all you want. He's not gonna lose one voter that supports him. I don't care how much you try to shame him, ridicule. He's not going to lose one voter that supports him. But the Democrats have lost a lot of people by not listening, by turning their backs on different groups. You know, you had the college students who were raising hell on the college campuses about Gaza and genocide, and the response was to go in and bust their heads. You lost their votes and their parents. And then you had black people who did still come out for Kamala, but were saying we need a little bit more, So you had the Democrats don't address the needs of their base, and they think by scaring us. And I said this, I said, look, you're not going to scare hungry bellies. We need freaking jobs. Stop telling us how bad the other guy is. That's not going to win the day anymore. And that's
Right.
exactly what happened. They collapsed nationally, not just the presidency, but Congress, Senate, and everybody from David Patterson to Bernie Sanders said Democratic Party didn't listen. You turned your back on working class. They turned their backs on us. What did you expect?
Well, you have to keep in mind too. Also, there is it's somewhat of a civil war going on in the Democrats among themselves. They fighting among themselves.
They
It,
eat their own, man. They eat
it,
their own.
well, but the thing is,
They eat their own.
you got a movement of progressives, the younger people that are coming in now. They are going in a different direction versus the old conservative ways. The old conservative ways thought that Kamala Harris was going to win by doing those conservative ways. She tried to latch on to some of the progressive methods, but it just wasn't enough. And because of the conflict between the two, this is just my opinion. The conflict between the two, that's the reason why they're missing the mark now, and they're going to keep on missing the mark until they can finally say, "Listen, we are going in the wrong direction, or we are not moving fast enough." The problem with a lot of these parties now is that you got people that are literally dying in these positions. I don't know why. It should be an age limit or either a term limit on some of these national seats. It does not make no sense to have somebody die in their 90s who's still a U.S. senator or or congressman.
But we keep voting for them. We keep voting for their old asses. When
Well,
they wheel them out on the stage to talk about we reelect me, we keep voting for them.
we need term limits there. We need it in Congress. We need it in the Senate, and we need it in the Supreme Court. It should
Yeah,
be term limits.
yeah. No,
No way in the world somebody should stay there until they die. Let's look back at Ruth Bader. I mean Ruth Ginsburg, and not knocking her or anything.
No,
God
she should have
bless.
left way earlier.
Yeah, but she should have left.
She should have
If,
left.
if she would have left, it would have gave Biden the opportunity to put somebody in that seat. But
she
because
Biden
thought
also should have
Hillary.
thought
but
about.
because but because they refused to let go, that's what happened.
She thought Hillary was going to win. And that's what she was hanging
Should have
on.
left.
No, she should have left, but she was
Should have left.
hanging on, thinking Hillary's going to win. She was hanging on by a life by the life cord machine,
Well,
right?
and it's more than just her. There's
No,
so
it is
many
it's sad.
should be it's these are career positions, lifetime positions, and these people all they worrying about is the power and the money they make.
By the people of
Their,
Star.
their
Yeah,
lifetime positions that they keep getting voted in.
yeah. Well, we keep putting them in there.
Right. Right. And we don't.
Westchester's not putting anybody in because we just went through 2 terms in our congressional representatives.
Well, I got to give them a little credit. At least there was, for instance, in Congress, at least among the Democrats, I give them credit. At least they were smart enough to realize that we needed a young face, and
Who?
but they got Hakeem. He's younger than the rest of them.
No, I'm talking about Westchester. We had 2 black
Well,
men in, and 2 black men are now out.
exactly. But
2 terms.
I was
let
None.
talking
me tell you.
about Hakeem Jeffries. He's young.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Hakeem Jeffries is young, but he's playing old style politics, right? The progressive movement is over. Even AOC, and this is what and I told Bowman this, and I don't have a problem in speaking openly. I said, dude, you got to pay attention to your district. That all that shit AOC talking, she ain't talking that shit now because she saw in her district that even though she won, when it came to president in her district, they voted for Trump. So what did she do on her Twitter page? She took off the nouns and pronouns. He, she, them. She had all that. Once she saw the results, she took that shit off, Charles,
Oh, thank
because
you so
because
much.
because it was about her staying in
I
office.
hope so too.
It was about her staying in office, and
I have to be there for her, but I need to also
Bowman,
say,
who followed her when I said, dude, that's not your district. She put a battery in his back and he got taken out. He got taken out because he was too busy listening to the squad. The squad is dead. And all of them are just trying to just hold on.
Yeah, AOC has definitely become more machine Democrat to the
Mhm.
point where she almost got a major leadership position in Congress from a Democratic Party that, let's face it, is ain't the most ethical. And so she's willing to play those games, those political
Exactly.
games. She's not the radical that ran the Democratic Socialist. And I'm not even knocking that, because we got to understand what politicians are and what they do. I
Right.
mean, that's a whole for me, my money is in the movement. How
Yeah,
always has been, always will be.
yeah, but you got to think about the reason and why it's going that way. And my own personal opinion again, one thing is money. When they chair these committees, they get paid. They get additional monies to their salary. In like for instance, in New York City, they call them Lulus. For that additional money to run those committees and things like that. It's all about the money.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
all
get
about
that, but I'm just on Damon's point. I'm just making a point that she's becoming more of a machine Democrat than the radical. She fell in love with the celebrity, the power, the money. You know,
no.
and I'm not knocking her. These are who politicians are, and you could only go so far. We keep saying we keep voting for them. We really don't. We're at the mercy of a multi-million dollar political party. In presidential elections, we're talking about $1 billion. Each side spent $1 billion freaking to
more
No,
than
to
that.
run their person.
Kamala spent $2 billion total on
Billion
on.
of
See,
her
that's
campaign,
crazy.
billion through PACs.
Yep. And
Right, right.
that Asian girl who is the deputy Democratic chair somewhere in wherever wherever she's head of she's up there in the Democratic Party from wherever she's been on every news show except MSNBC, but she's been on every YouTube podcast going off
Yeah,
on
she's pissed.
how they spent that money
She's
because
pissed.
she's like it makes her look bad because
Right.
she went out there and raised millions of dollars, got people, and I didn't even know she was saying even people were on payment plans to the party
Wow.
donating millions. They wasn't just giving it; they was giving it every quarter. You
Right.
know, because they didn't have it. You got to get it right. Not
Right.
everybody got money just sitting in the bank, so they had to get the money but they came through, and only to see how they spent it and how
Yeah.
they blew it and lost.
And lost. She's disgusted. She's telling it all. Also, I think there's been some, really disgruntledness about Oprah Winfrey and what she got paid, and Al Sharpton.
Exactly.
Oprah got paid?
Oprah got paid. Al Sharpton got paid. They're getting ready. Listen, let me tell you. After January 20th, Sharpton better run because he got paid. Didn't tell MSNBC he got paid, and brought her on MSNBC.
Wow.
Gave her a lovely, lovely interview.
Who?
Right?
Oprah?
No, Sharpton.
No, Kamala.
Oh, come.
Right.
I'll get ready to say.
Yeah, Sharpton gave Kamala, but he got paid.
Kamala.
He got 2 checks at $250,000. No, he
Wow.
got
For bringing her
500,000.
on?
National Action Network got 500,000.
That's documented.
Well,
Beyonce got paid.
but did Nan get the money or he got the money?
Nan got the money. They don't give a shit.
It's one and the same though,
It's
because
one of the,
Al
just like Oprah said. Oh, well, that was Harpo. Harpo got the no. You got the money.
I think paid himself $1 million in bonuses through Nan over the last couple of years. I know I read that a couple days
No,
ago.
listen.
I don't
They
know.
all. That's why they all stressing. They all stressing because look at ABC. They just settled with Donald Trump for 15 million.
Yeah, that
We
was
are
not a good
in
look for them.
for some
How much they paid? How much they paid?
15 million. They settled for 15 million.
15 million? ABC? Wow.
And Kostopoulos, whatever his name is. What was that dude's name?
Yeah, George Stephanopoulos.
Yep. Yeah, he sued them. So now everybody's like, look what they doing to The View. They're making Sonny Carson, when she come out with craziness, she has a read. They're making her read a legal notice. Yo, it's January 20th, bro.
You
Get
can't make this up.
Get the popcorn ready after
It's
January.
definitely going to be showtime, and not to change the topic, but one of the things that I've been looking at is the 2 attempts on Trump's life.
Mm.
The first one in particular, where this man climbed up a ladder
And nobody saw him.
in the middle of nowhere. Now, I worked with Jesse Jackson in '84 on his campaign, and Jesse was speaking in Terrytown. I think there was a GM plant there or something, and I rode with Jesse several miles to the site. There was snipers. I never seen anything like it. He wasn't even the president. There was snipers on the rooftops a couple miles away. There was cops in front of restaurants, and so this man climbed. So I'm saying, and this is going to sound like some conspiracy theory stuff, but I have to ask these questions. If this guy got that far, was it part of an inside job? Well, why would there be an inside job? Well, but if you think back, they were ridiculing Biden about his mental faculties his first time he ran. There was memes out there, Obama saying, "Hey, Joe, I'm going to endorse you." And Joe says, "For what?" So he was already, before he got elected in his first term, starting to lose his grip. And so now you fast forward, when I saw that first debate, when I saw Biden walk out there stumbling, looking like a zombie, I turned it off and said, he's out there because they have no choice. Somebody's been signing documents that wasn't Joe Biden. And when Trump gets in there, he's going to see that stuff. That's going to be some showtime.
It's really gonna get crazy, especially after the report that they knew that Biden's mental condition, his capacity, and everything
Right.
was
Exactly.
for a long time.
Yes.
And that's crazy.
So they were hiding it. Do you remember when Howard Hughes? Do y'all remember that? When Howard Hughes died, they found out. I'm older than all of y'all. When Howard Hughes died, they found out that he he was mentally ill for years. He wasn't even sanitary. He was unkempt, crap in his room,
Wow.
nails, no haircut. But his top people and his corporations were signing documents.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's the question to ask. What was this done purposely like this for Biden to wait this late to bow out, to give her the go ahead, or if let's say by chance he did got out back in January or beginning of the year, he got out the way. It would force a primary, and
Right.
and if it forced a primary, the question is, would she have won?
Hell no. Hell no.
So
And
maybe it was done by design.
well, they wanted a primary. They wanted. See, this was the crazy thing because there was a video with AOC, and she was pushing, you know, and you know, I know my sister Tasha here, but let the woman have her chance, right? Let the woman have her chance. And when you and now after it's over, and those top donors are now going on podcasts and they're talking, they're saying no, they wanted a primary.
But it was too late.
No, they had enough time.
It
No,
goes back to the party.
it was too
Right.
late. It was
This
definitely
was, yeah.
it was too
I
late.
don't
Too
think
late.
I don't think it was.
Not
I
when,
don't think
not
it
when
was
you
too
have
late.
most of, not when you have most of the. Most of the states in the United States, their primaries were in June. We talking about he bowed out when we talking about April, May. It's not enough time.
April. April.
It's not enough time now.
Well, they needed to because she wasn't.
The question
Unfortunately,
facts.
remember, bro, she wasn't even the top. She wasn't even the top dog in the
No,
presidential debate.
no, I agree, but I'm saying still, if it was primary back in January when they would have had ample time to decide who we want, and there's a good chance it probably or maybe it wouldn't been her, it would have been somebody else.
Right, right. But I mean, you never know at this point. You know, I mean, go ahead, Tasha.
The Democratic Party does not really want to operate by votes from the membership,
Hmm.
because if that were the case, Bernie Chance would have had a
Oh, Bernie,
shot.
Bernie
And
Sanders.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, Bernie
Hmm.
Sanders would have had a chance way
I
back.
absolutely agree, and that goes back to the point that we're not up against we're up against a political machine that's going to run people that are corrupt, that are speaking to the issues of corporate America, and that's freaking it. The job right now of the federal government is to make sure corporate profits are at a maximum, and we have nothing. And but I mean, we can beat that only through movement, running our own candidates, primary, and building something, getting involved in more than one political party. But where we are right now, this very moment, that's what we're dealing with.
I think so. I agree. And I think movement is now determining what that looks like for ourselves. It's not enough to just align yourself with the Democratic Party anymore, because to Charles's point way earlier, maybe it was Daryl, we don't get anything back for our loyalty and our vote. Even when it looks like they're doing something, there's so much more that could have been done. And it's just, when we say the progressive left is dead, that's really unfortunate, because that's really where we would find the most progress. That's why we have progress, really. It's from
Absolutely.
people, yeah, it's from people on the left and people like us, that love right on back. I'm on a love fest too. If I could please talk about that before we end. But no, if we if the Democratic Party insists on going back to conservative values every time they get a shellacking like this, we don't have a place.
yeah, but conservative just don't
We
work.
don't,
Well, we
that's
deal,
what I'm saying.
we dealing with a different mindset of
Right.
people that are coming up. They're not thinking old school ways of doing things.
Right.
That's like I had a conversation with my grandson, and he asked me about when was the last time I played a video game. I told him it was Nintendo Mike Tyson Punch Out. We talking about we talking about 30, 35 years ago.
Tyson punch out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is now is that but he's playing something that's much more advanced. I wouldn't
Right.
even stand a chance. He's on the internet playing with hundreds of other people at the same time. I can't even think about that because I'm just not into that, first of all. But the thing is now is that the younger people that are coming up today, two things are wrong and they're not getting it. They need to know the past and the history. They need to
Yeah.
know where we came from. But it should be more discussions on what direction we are going to go forward. And also the older people need to evolve to what's going on today to prepare
Totally.
for the future. Because
Totally.
the old people are not evolving. Those old conservative ways just don't work anymore. That's the reason why we have this great divide among ourselves and people are just not listening. We need to learn us old people need to learn the new language.
Well, in that aspect of conservatism, definitely, definitely. But as far as like this conservatism that I know that is America to me is white Christian nationalism. So I know a lot of my Latino friends and family, that's not what they mean when they say social conservatism. They mean like, pro life, they mean pro marriage, pro family
Right,
values,
right.
right? But what I'm talking about is the white supremacists that are conservatives that used to go to church and then go lynch black people. I'm talking about those people.
Well, yeah, they exist.
Oh, they exist. They
They,
exist.
they,
And
they, they exist.
so when some people speak about conservatism, they need to understand there's levels to it.
Right.
Levels to it. And when you talk about social conservatism because of your values, you need to understand there are people in the same party that you may support that vote for conservatism because of white supremacy values.
No, I mean, yeah,
And now you have aligned yourself with them.
yeah, but I mean, that's in the Democrats too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's in, yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's my whole point,
Right.
right? Because I'm like, okay, well, you say don't go over here because they're racist, but I see racism in the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
I see blatant racism in the Democratic Party.
Yes.
And then we get boxed in, because then we have no choice. So you want me to support, your kind of racism, because you say,
Not kinder.
right? And then like you have people say, well, why would you want to move to Texas or Atlanta? They're racist. I'm like, I live in Westchester. What are you talking about? Right? I see just as much racism here in Westchester than I do down there, and black people are living better down there than they are here.
I just want to say for the record, if you're talking about racism that like prevents people from advancing as they should, economic racism and segregated housing and redlining, that's violent too.
Hmm.
That's financial violence against black people, predatory
Exactly.
lending.
And they do it lovely here in New York, and they give it to you with a smile, and then they tell you, well, you don't want to go down south because they're racist. But Westchester County is more segregated than some in the South. Hello.
Yeah, no, it's all over. It's not just Long Island. I mean, it's not just Westchester. You got parts of Long Island. You got parts of it's all over New York. It's there. You got it right in New York City. So I mean, what's the difference? So the issue is now is that it is knowing that it exists and knowing how to deal with it. But
Yeah.
the saddest thing about it is it's not enough consciousness and it's not
Right.
enough open dialogue where people can literally sit down and create real changes. You have these so-called some of these so-called leaders, some of them, these so-called leaders who think they know what direction we should be marching. when really they ain't got a clue.
Yeah,
No.
they're not listening. They're not listening to people.
I mean, but you mentioned it earlier about voting. Or over the last, I would say, probably over the last 2 decades, the numbers of people that go out and vote now has been decreasing, decreasing, decreasing. After every year these elections come out, because people lost interest in them. People just are saying, "Well, why should I vote?" Because they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. So why am I wasting my time? Or then you have those that are just not interested into the politics, or they're working too hard to maintain a living. So
Exactly.
so the thing is now is that long as those trends keep continuing, it's going to be the same old thing over and over and over. But a
Right.
lot of politicians look forward to low turnouts because
Yes.
low turnouts give them the opportunity to get reelected.
Yeah.
You know what? And I thought it was a racist comment when I first heard it. And but then after the election went and I sat and I thought about it, you know, white folks study us. We don't study white people, right? Elijah Muhammad said, study the white man, he's successful, he makes no excuses for his failures. But we don't study them, but they study us. They study our trends, they study what we like, they study what we don't like. And it made the news around the whole Lattimore Bowman election when Lattimore was on a conservative show, a radio show. And he said the first Bowman win, right? It wasn't because people wanted Bowman. It was because people had access to vote. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
that was during
Yep.
COVID,
Yep.
and Governor Cuomo
Yes.
sent absentee ballots to everybody's house. You didn't have to ask for them. You
Right.
didn't have to go through this crazy process that
Right.
they had to request one and then get it in the mail. You just got it in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
And black turnout was remarkable
Yep.
Yeah,
because
but
people, wait,
also,
hold on, let me finish. So they looked at that trend and they said, black people are not going to do that this election. And God damn it, they were right. They were right. The black turnout, and they planned that and they saw that. Because, dude, the Jewish community had 6,000 absentee ballots. Guess how many total votes was in Mount Vernon with a population of 80,000?
About
6,000.
6,000. About 6,000. Yeah.
They had just as many absentee
Yeah. I
ballots
know this race. I can talk about
as,
this race.
as a city of 80,000 people had votes. Had votes. So what they were studying, they were correct. They were correct because they knew that demographic, that Jewish demographic, that synagogue demographic was going to organize and come out and vote, and black folks were going to stay at home, even with keeping in a black congressman. They stayed home. So what do we what do we do with that? What do we do with that? Like how do we say how do we say that we want these things in our communities and we don't even show up and show out for people and to the fact that Lattimore accused Bowman for looking out for black people. And
I
black
just want to
people
say
still did it and come out and vote.
we won Mount Vernon. I just want to say, for the record,
Oh, that's right. You was on the campaign. You went on the campaign. That's right.
I just want to say that for the record.
yeah, but
Black
you know,
people showed up, and I also want to say that it's worth saying that a lot of people are really on drugs, and what I mean by that is, stay with me, stay with me. The social media algorithms that we're all programmed with daily are at work and they're effective. We are the project. We learned that in the social media movie about Mark Wahlberg and Facebook Meta. The data that they're mining is what we're putting into social media. There's algorithms at work. There's all kinds of things going on. When we were all in quarantine, our attention was focused. We weren't so distracted. We were tuning into one another. We created community with one another. We did mutual aid. We made sure people were fed. That's why to this day, when I see people that are, maybe begging for food, I'm like, I know for a fact there's free food everywhere because we saw it during the pandemic. So what am I saying? I'm saying that now that we're back to being distracted and programmed,
Mm-hmm.
we're losing ourselves and we're losing control of ourselves. And we don't have to do it, Black people. We don't have to be privy to consumerism. We don't have to do it to ourselves. We're doing it to ourselves. We need to start practicing better, taking better care of our health,
Mm-hmm.
better care of our mental health, eat better, do business with one another. Stop going to Walmart. I keep saying stop going to Walmart. Black people want to fight me. Stop shopping at Walmart. Shop with each other. We are trillionaires. That's our money we spend.
Can I
On,
jump in here, sister? Can I jump in here?
yes, sir.
Yeah, because I want to jump in now, and I'm sorry to interrupt because what you're saying is exactly what I've been pushing and promoting, and so have all of you. But we tend to not make the distinction that what you're talking about is our road to progress. We ain't never gonna vote our way out of bondage. Never. Or they wouldn't give us the power to vote or the right to vote. You can't, your oppressor's never gonna give you your tool of your freedom. They took away Martin, Malcolm, Harriet, right? Went after the Panthers. Imam, you want to pardon somebody? H. Rap Brown is rotten in a dungeon right now.
Mm.
There's somebody to pardon, Joe Biden. And so I say this to say everything we got as black people, we got when we practice self-reliance. You could be successful, but not too successful. Ain't that right? Black Wall Street.
That's right.
Isn't that right? You know what I'm saying? So Marcus Garvey had the biggest movement in the history of this country among black people. No social media, didn't vote Democrat, you know what I'm saying? Didn't vote Republican, And so that's where I'm coming from. Daryl Davis, head of the Committee for Justice and podcaster and activist or whatever, who supported a conservative Republican because I'm not voting Democrat or Republican anymore. I'm cultivating power, just like other groups who will remain nameless because I don't want that fight. That's it.
Yeah.
Self-reliance. Sometimes you vote Democrat. Sometimes you. Who's for us is who we should be for.
No, which is
Because
cool.
just voting Democrat, where has that Democrat blindly has gotten us nothing. And even when we told the Democratic Party that, what did Kamala come out with? A program for black men, which some white dude wrote on a napkin at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
it was littered with racial stereotypes, and the small print
Exactly.
said black men and others.
Exactly. Exactly.
Self-reliance is the way.
Absolutely.
I went to a private influencer meeting, and hopefully they will. We're going to do. They plan to do another one. Some people from the entertainment industry and local influencers in the state of New York. And I got in my son's ass because he was pushing he was pushing that nonsense when and this is black men, and this is why I saw it. The writing was on the wall when black men stood up and was like, look, we need Kamala to talk about our issues. We've been there before with Obama, voted for him twice. We still got the T-shirt, but we need it. Black men need jobs. Black men need this. Black men to be the man in the house, to be the head of the family, to take care of our families and all that. These are the things that we need. And he was like, well, she's not going to answer that in public. If she's not going to be in public and talk about the needs of black men in public, why should we vote for her? And this was part of the conversation. And it was behind closed doors and it was private. But that played out from that meeting. The concerns of black men, those that were for Kamala, and those is like, yo, she's our sister, but she has to talk about these issues. It played out into the national election.
So the messaging wasn't there. That's basically what you were saying.
No, the messaging wasn't there. And then when you attacked black men, oh, you're misogynist. Oh, you don't like your mother. And all that was insane. That was literally.
But you know what else about that, Damon?
Man, I was like, yo.
But you know what?
Y'all definitely gonna lose now.
Yeah, no, and also about I saw a lot of activists, scholar black women who said I'm not with her because they put out these memes. The Democrats thought they were going to get elected by meme, the flashiest meme. You was not going to out meme Donald Trump, blood running down his face with his fist in the air. That picture was next to Jesus and all them households of people who voted for him. You was not going to out meme that. Feel me?
Yeah.
You was not going to out meme that. And so when black men were saying, give us something to vote for so that we can provide for our family, we got viciously attacked, sometimes by sisters.
Right.
So you want us to be able to be providers, but you also want us to vote for no means to provide. So it put everything was going to be blamed on the black men who, although we came out 78% voted for Kamala, they were still taking shots at us.
Huh? We always show up and show out for the Democrats.
Right.
But
what about America not being ready for a black woman or woman, period?
I don't think that
goes without saying. I mean,
no, it was they keep choosing the wrong woman, and when we try to explain that,
I want to say this,
Charles. They wasn't feeling her. The National Black Police Association and all them out in California wasn't feeling her. Then they tried to change history. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? I was in California. I talked to the black cops out there and how she dealt with black people. And they didn't like her then.
Wow.
It's like I didn't know how she got that far. Maybe on the strength of Obama. But look, you had black women that Stacey Abrams. You had the homegirl from Florida, that was the former police chief. She was, I think, a congressman, a senator. They had great black women that they could have picked. But guess what they were? Dark skin and nappy head.
Are you talking about Val Demings?
You know what they were? Dark skin and nappy head.
But even worse than that, you know what they were?
Let's call it what it was.
But you know what was even worse for them, the political establishment? They were all African Americans.
Exactly.
Boom.
Exactly. Let's call a spade a spade. Right? Balls and strikes. They were dark skinned and nappy headed.
I saw the pictures that the Democrats were putting out there, Kamala with King and I'm with her and marching with black women, but I know King didn't die for me to go out and vote for Indian Americans.
I honestly feel like the conversation has gone a place where I disagree. However,
it's fine.
But it's okay. It's okay.
I'm with you.
We're just saying. I'm making it clear why they didn't pick Val Demings. Why they didn't pick? They had black women. They had black. Let's make it clear. The
Yeah, I'm
Democratic
agreeing
Party
with you.
they
But I'm
had black women, but it didn't fit what she fitted that mold that they wanted, not
and
what they needed.
building on what you're saying, because I think I want to rest the blame where I would like to put it, which is with the party.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think I really think the party should have allowed for a primary. I always think the party should, and that's why I went back to Bernie Sanders. There's no allowance for the people to really be able to participate in these processes. Yes, we do elect delegates, but even at the local level, there is a power maintenance that doesn't really invite new voices, fresh voices. There's no recruitment for anybody that remotely thinks anything differently. As a matter of fact, if you do, you might be on the fringe
Yep.
permanently.
We
And that is unfortunate because we need people to think. Going back to what I'm saying, I'm sure we all agree. People need to start thinking again and reading and talking to one another.
and again, but that goes back to what I mentioned earlier about the messaging. Uh, I mean, Kamala Harris she put it this way, for those who are paying attention, heard everything, or at least heard what they wanted to
Right,
hear. Those who work, people who are working 8, 10, 12, 16-hour days, people who got to come home, take care of their kids, and don't have time to watch TV or listen to the news all day. Those people who are grinding every
right,
day,
right.
they weren't hearing the message at all.
No, they were not.
And the saddest thing about it, the people who was going out there telling you to vote for her didn't know how to deliver the message either. They
No,
didn't have anything to share. So now the messaging, what I mean, first of all, wasn't being delivered. You're right, and some of the messaging that was giving wasn't enough.
that's right.
I'm trying to think of the brother name from the or off the internet. Solomon the God.
Yeah,
Show,
Yeah, he made a statement saying that just black people, just like whites, want to feel safe at home, want to
yeah.
be able
right.
to put food on the table, especially men, especially black
Oh,
men.
absolutely.
They want to work, they want to make their own money, they want to feel safe at home, and they want to be able to provide for their family. And the messaging that was going out, and this is just my own personal opinion, what was going out wasn't directed in that direction. It wasn't. It was more about beating up Trump than about telling me how I can be part of this movement to get you in there and how we all could win. It wasn't about that. It was about more or less saying how he was a crook, he was a predator, he was a sex fiend, how he's being sued. I don't.
Hitler.
We
They
see
called
this.
the man Hitler.
Yeah, but we seen it and heard it all day, every day for the last I don't know how long. So now, and I mean, just my own personal opinion. I mean, the messaging I should have been hearing should have been telling me how those things I said about feeling safe at home, providing for my family, making
Right.
things, making sure I can be the man who I need to be. And a lot of men, and I'll say this, a lot of the men who I knew wasn't hearing it either. But again, some of us being loyal or faithful to the blackness, we decided to support the sister anyway. But the messaging wasn't correct.
And I just want to say just for my saying as a black woman, I just want to thank, those in the community that saw fit to vote for Kamala Harris on behalf of their love and respect for black professional women. I just want to say thank you because that is a thing. And I also want to say that we see you. We see you. And Damon, in my opinion, as a black woman, to see like so much support for Trump, who has never, ever moved in the direction of supporting, um, promoting, protecting Black women at all. He's always been
Wasn't it?
opposite of that.
Wasn't it? Just wasn't about women. See, this is what
I'm,
people don't get. It
no,
just.
I'm just no.
But sister, just listen. It just wasn't about women. It was about boys. It was about a whole bunch of stuff. But the Democrats wasn't addressing it. And either people just said, I'm voting third party. New York, it was a write-in. You had to write the third party candidate in, right? Or I'm not going to vote at all. It wasn't just about her being a woman.
Yeah, and it wasn't about New York either. She won New York hands down.
Yeah, but she lost the boroughs.
What
She
you say?
lost a couple of boroughs.
No. Well, I'm not disagreeing, but overall, statewide, she won the state. She got the electoral votes. She got that. But
it just wasn't. It wasn't, and this is what nobody paid attention to. It wasn't about. It was about people needing to eat. People making $30,000, but their rent is $3,500 a month. That's what it was about.
Yeah, Damon, I agree 100%. And Charles, what you said was sort of what I've been saying, and I said it. I was saying leading up to the election that the Democrats are going to lose if all you're going to do is try to make us be afraid of Trump.
right,
You're going to lose. You're
right.
not going to, and these are my exact words. You are not going to scare a hungry belly. And I kept saying it, and I kept saying it, and then then the cyberbullying kicked in. Oh, well, then you're helping Trump. No, I'm trying to help you understand that you're not going to scare hungry people into voting for you.
He
And
might get bit.
when I say that King didn't die for me to vote for an Indian American, it has nothing to do with her being a woman. It has to be with the white male Democrat manipulating this election to try to make it seem we weren't voting for her because she was a woman.
Exactly.
My mama was a woman. So it was insulting. It was insulting my intelligence to say that I should vote for somebody because they're black, white, female, male, just because of that, and still go home hungry. And they had black women coming after some of us.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So it was
But
not about
and
that.
that's the thing. And Tasha, you got white people running these campaigns, telling a black candidate what they need to talk to with black people, which is a shame. We give the Democrats our votes, and only 7% out of all political strategists are black. So you're going to tell me you done spent $2 billion, and the only people that got real money was entertainers
And other billionaires.
No, the consultants. It's
well,
not
well,
the consultants got more money than the entertainers.
but there wasn't.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah,
point is, they wasn't
Trust
black.
me.
They wasn't black.
I'm agreeing with you.
Exactly. Even Jamal Bowman. I'm like, nigga, how you gonna get black votes and you got white folks that have
It's
no.
it's not a candidate thing though. We need to
It's
put
a
the
Democratic Party thing. It's a
Yes.
Democratic culture thing,
Yes.
right?
When Kamala became the candidate, Joe Biden's campaign manager didn't leave his position. Neither did the assistant campaign manager, neither did the treasurer, neither did they move the headquarters.
Yeah, so we've all been bamboozled.
No, right. And then
We've
and,
been
you know,
led astray.
let me tell you,
Hoodwinked, led astray.
brother Jack Toon put up the Hispanics. But you know what's the difference between blacks and Hispanics? They have their own community. They come here yesterday.
That's why we're like, we're not gonna start with y'all.
Exactly. They built their storefront and they all shop from that storefront. And they mind their goddamn business. So wherever they want to vote for, they're going to vote for. Because guess what? They support themselves. We don't do that.
But we're also the only group that are under attack. We're also the only group.
Exactly.
Every group, listen, If you watch the old cartoons, Bugs Bunny, every cop there has an Irish accent in those cartoons because the Irish were given that industry when they came here as immigrants. The
Right.
The
Italians came
Cubans
here, they were
too
given
in
construction.
Florida.
Everybody who came here was given an industry except us. The YWCA was founded to help get white people out of poverty. Now that it's our turn, we get a cot. So we can't act like they got that on their own. It was all given to them.
Nobody does.
And now you have immigrants coming
Only
here.
us.
They're being given everything again, and we're being stepped over.
And,
So
and
we
that
got
was
our own.
that was another issue too, was the whole migrant and immigration thing. And which the party was in denial of.
That
I
was horrible.
had Ken Jenkins text me when I put an article out about the FEMA money. Now, I usually do my research. Oh, that's a lie. I'm like, dude, it's not a lie. You have the press secretary on recording saying that they were moving FEMA money to take care of the migrants, and then when that tornado came, they ain't had no money. Right? And then come on, like we have to recognize the issues. We have to be more about issues and policy. Issues and policy.
Absolutely.
And you could grab another white woman, put her up there and run her for president. If she's running on issues and she's running on policy, she could win whatever color she could be
But
She-Hulk.
this is the problem. Elizabeth Warren was that. She had a great platform. She came out the back like that.
But
However,
what happened to the party, right? What happened to the party?
well, it's everything is orchestrated. Everything is
Exactly,
orchestrated.
exactly.
It
It's
never
all
really
part of the orchestration. We have to just be honest about that. They thought they was going to come with the old Obama playbook, but we've been there and we've done that, and we didn't get a damn thing from Obama. We didn't get nothing from Obama. He pushed college education. Not all blacks are going to college education. There's almost 600,000 vocational jobs, plumbers and electricians is going to be opening, and we're not preparing our young people to take those jobs because
neither is Trump. I mean, come on.
no,
Who
it's
is,
not
who
about
is
Trump.
doing that?
I'm not just no. I'm not. It's our responsibility when we put black people in office. Let's be clear. They have to do our issues or get the fuck out. Or get out. I don't care what level of government are you in. See, we got to start talking that shit. We don't do it as black people. And they don't prepare our children. So what the hell are we voting for? What are we voting for? You have a city like Mount Vernon. They're not preparing their children outside of college. And most of them can't even write script. And their graduation rate is low. So you would think they would say, "Yo, let's prepare them with vocational." When BMW had a program, a private partnership with the city to teach young black men or women, whoever, how to be certified BMW mechanic. The only thing Mount Vernon had to do was give them the space. And them Negroes on the board of education couldn't even vote to give BMW the space.
So I see a lot of
We are the dysfunctional ones.
a lot of enterprise, and I see even through your not-for-profit, you're doing what you need to do, Damon.
What? I'm feeding people.
Yeah,
Right?
you're doing. I mean, each
Yeah,
one of us on this call
I'm feeding people. I'm feeding people, and that's enough because you got to deal with the politicians with the bullshit, and I don't want to deal with the bullshit, right? The bigger you go, the more you have to play the game, right? If you want city funding, if you want government funding, if you want all that, you have to start playing the game. I'm not playing that game. I'm not kissing nobody's ass. I'm not going to do that because your intentions are not genuine. Your intentions is not based on no spiritual value. And I told Ken Jenkins that. I say ain't no God in politics, bro.
I'm not sure where you're at. I'm at economic development
No,
place.
no, no. I'm at economic development. I think black people, we spend 800 billion a year. By 2030, it's going to be 1.5 trillion dollars. And we don't and we don't have a pot to piss in. And I say it all the time. If the white man disappeared tomorrow and everything that the white man built and owned disappear, we won't have a damn thing.
And you know, Damon, a lot of that comes because of the lack of commitment we have among ourselves. We are too busy not trusting each other. We are too busy not having faith in each other. We are too busy like a barrel of crabs constantly pulling the next one down. And that's the whole concept of all of this. The hereditary commitment among all those other races you have mentioned, and it's hereditary commitment
Right.
because it's all about survival for them. We just don't have that. We only had it. I'll be on my own thought is that we had it during the 50s, during the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King, because it was all about pushing the agenda about being treated fair. Our people, our elders fought for those things to make sure those things happen and those laws and stuff to get passed.
Mm-hmm.
I
We,
think
we don't we just don't have that driving force now.
I,
Our people think differently. And I'll say this. Our people believe that we overcame and we haven't.
I
Exactly.
think we're stuck in the middle because the millennials and the zennials or the ones under them, they're making multi-million dollars in content creation, gaming. No. I think that our mindset needs to be that we need to work with each other.
No, no, no,
We
absolutely.
need to,
True.
and with AI, there's about to be wealth transfer because of artificial intelligence, and we need to learn prompt engineering, and we need to learn how to gain an advantage. Now's the time.
But that
No,
goes back to
no,
what Damon said about the trades, about learning those trades.
Right.
Our people are not learning those trades. We are not.
no. But this is what we put elected officials in office for.
Well, but
Can I?
yes,
Yeah, let
yes.
me. Can I jump in? I want to give us a concrete example of what all three of y'all are talking about right now.
Hmm.
When I approached the city of Peekskill, because we're trying to revitalize the public housing community there,
Hmm.
about using the community center that we fought for, that I mentioned earlier. We fought for that, marched for it, made them build that to help stabilize and uplift our community. They took full control of that. So I went to them and said, listen, I got the unions, I got Teamsters, I got the electricians union. They want to hold a career day. Everybody that lives in public housing can come in, become apprentice, get on union jobs, and become homeowners. These black elected officials in Peekskill would not give us the room. Democrats. Let that sink in. Now I support a Republican congressman. He wins. He writes letters to HUD. You know what we're doing next year, early part? Teamsters are coming in to our community center. Bankers are coming in to talk about financial literacy, the
Yeah.
credit score. All
Yep.
right, because public housing is doomed, whether it's Democrat or Republican. And we need to start preparing people to move out of public housing. And I have
Right.
Mhm.
to, and I'm working with a freaking Republican
Hmm.
getting this done because the Democrats cut deals to tear the building down and mass evict everybody. We fought that and beat them. And when Mondaire Jones,
God,
our brother, was congressman, he turned their backs on us and was going to let them tear that building down.
Lord have
All
mercy.
right, so we got to get off that. We got to vote blue no matter who, and start voting our own interests. We talking economic development, home ownership.
Oh
Couldn't
yeah.
get that conversation with these Westchester Democrats.
Yeah.
See, but that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
right with you.
That's what I'm saying. Our political goal should be no less than you. Because look, if you watch anybody that understands finance, they will tell you you will never get rich off of going to a 9 to 5. There's only three avenues to become rich: real estate, the stock market,
and inheritance.
Well, black people, we don't have that.
We don't
So
have inheritance.
real estate, the stock market, and having your own business.
Yep.
Those are the only three. Anybody that's watching, if you think that you're gonna go to your job, unless you're stealing from them for 20, 30 years, and
Yeah.
think you're gonna be a multimillionaire, you're fooling yourself.
Yep.
But we have to have a political platform that's going to talk about those things, and we're not and we're not talking about those things, and that's where the Democrats fall short. And
Absolutely.
it's not about Trump. See, we've been talking about Trump for so long.
Unnecessarily.
We have Trump derangement syndrome.
Yes.
That's what we have.
Agreed.
Because everything is Trump. I'm
And
like,
and he
Jesus
ain't and
Christ,
he ain't gonna lose. He ain't
Trump.
gonna lose one supporter. He ain't gonna lose one supporter by the Democrats bashing him, his cabinet.
Yep.
He ain't gonna lose one supporter. The Democrats need to turn and say, "How are you gonna feed us? How you gonna house us? What are we getting for our votes?" If they don't have that conversation, they're setting the stage for 4 years, same place.
Well, and Jack Toon is right. The Democrats had an opportunity with reparations in California, and they dropped the ball at the last minute. They dropped the ball at the last minute. So, even with reparations, everybody else get money. Ukraine get money.
That's what I'm
Israel get
saying.
money.
That's
Right?
what I'm saying.
Everybody gets money. It's okay to give everybody money, but black folks.
That's the point.
And not only that, how the hell? And it's not hard because look, they're missing $800 billion in the Department of Defense. They don't know where $800 billion went.
For the 7th year in a row.
Exactly, for the 7th year in a row, and nobody's fired, right? And that could have been reparations.
7 years in a row.
Yeah.
But so we have to really we have to really question, man, like what are you going to do for black people?
Yeah.
And that should be having and black people shouldn't be scared, and we shouldn't be following a lot of these Negroes in Westchester that have county jobs that go out here and push the rhetoric to communities that are starving.
They're only there for photo ops. They're only there so that the county executive or the county legislator, somebody can say, "We got blacks in our administration." But they're only there for photo ops. They're not there to fight for jobs for us or housing for us.
And they
Right.
have no
He
power.
sound like Trump. He got black jobs, huh?
That's
No,
what I was thinking.
but that's what I didn't understand, right?
Yeah, I got black friends.
Exactly. Now, listen, that's what I didn't understand. Everybody got upset over that black job, right? And
Let's talk about it.
I said, well, if we don't have black institutions and we go into white institutions, you got a black job. You have a black job. When you
But
go to the hospital, right? That says Montefiore, that's owned by white folks. You and with your doctor's degree,
Right.
you
That's
have
a
a
black
black
job.
job.
That's right. That's how I interpreted it.
When
I ain't got no comment.
no, I'm going to comment on it.
I want to talk about it because
I'm going to comment on it because I thought because black people didn't get what he was saying.
right.
They didn't get what he was saying. We give you these jobs because y'all don't have no businesses.
You better. Can I just say something? Because I'm excited right now. When I started studying Project 2025, and I have through my Policy Institute, I study policy, I do my research, and I discovered some of the policy initiatives, and the whole attitude with Project 2025 is getting rid of what they call the fourth state, which is the administrative state.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. So you got the three branches of government. You have judicial, executive, legislative. We know those. Supreme Court. They got them all, by the way.
Mhm.
They want that. It was a sweep. Supreme Court, the Senate, House of Representatives, presidency.
Right.
The administrative state are the civil servants.
Right.
So that is one aspect of Black jobs. The other one is what you're saying, Damon, like all these corporations that you don't own because you're probably not invested, and they have blessed you with a salary that they get to tell you how much you're worth.
Exactly.
That's a Black job.
Exactly.
And and the administrative state that Project 2025 want to get rid of to replace with Trump supporters. Those are Black jobs. And they're
Well,
coming and if they could, they will get rid of the civil service, which was put in place so people like us could compete fairly for these jobs.
Well, it no, and it's also a way of union busting too.
right.
Union busting, those are Black jobs. We fought. So people are like, oh yeah, my Black job is to be president. No, you better pay attention and get the fact that there's business transactions going on. And
And
that's
that's
what
what
you
we don't understand.
that's what you need
That's
to
what
be
Black people don't
participating in.
understand. They don't understand. United States is a business.
Right.
We deal with emotions, right? And superficial bullshit.
Right.
We don't understand that this is a business.
This is a business.
Black folks have to be about our business. And I wanted to read this because see, we're not poor. We're not
No.
poor at all. We just have a poor mindset.
Talk about it.
It's nothing poor. Look what we spend. 1.2 billion on beauty and grooming, 29 billion on apparel and footwear, 20 billion on automotive purchases. We own more Mercedes-Benz than white people, but we make less money.
Talk about it.
120 billion on food and dining out. That's what Black folks spend every year.
And not with one another, mind you.
Exactly.
Go to Walmart.
And this is what I said. If Trump or whatever president
Show
wants
enough
to give a
reasons.
boost to economy, give these Negroes reparations. They'll give it right back to the white man within a year.
Right.
They won't buy a house. Some of them might buy a house. Some of them might invest. But it'll be a warehouse empty of Gucci, Louis, and all that, and they'll give it right back to the white man. It'll be the biggest boost in the stock market in the history of the world if they gave Black, because we don't know what to do with our money.
Yeah, I'm gonna say to that point, all of that is true, what you're saying. But it's also true that most Black people are not exposed to anything related to financial literacy,
Right.
or even how to buy a house, or that they even are close enough to buying a house. All
Right.
right. So if you ain't exposed to it, if you're locked out and locked in, and you get a few dollars, you want what they have too. So there's some psychological stuff going on there, but there's also the fact that we ain't exposed to any of that. And when we try to do it, they won't even let us have a room to talk about it. So you got a mix. It ain't all, just we ain't spending our money right. I mean, you got these
Absolutely.
billionaires, you got these millionaires and billionaires. Why is it okay for Money Mayweather to have a fucking $1 million watch on his wrist? My Timex keeps the same time.
Well,
And it ain't, it can't be just because he got it, because he could have built housing for people,
He
so
is.
it can't be just that. These
He is
$100 million yacht that Jay-Z and Tiger Woods, how come that ain't ridiculous?
no, what you're saying is correct though. But the key thing is now is that I mean, you're responsible for your household. I give you a good example. I got a grandson. He's working. He's in school. Me and him talk about finances all the time. All right, he needed a car because he doesn't live here in New York. He lives in Maryland. So he needs a car to get around with. So I said, that's cool. So I said, you don't need an expensive car. You just need a car. You don't need a Tesla or a Mercedes Benz or a BMW. You just need to be able to get from point A to point B. And then he said, well, what I'm gonna do with my money when I get some? I said, you're gonna buy a house. Oh, and he said, a house? I said, yeah, you get a house before you buy a car. You can't live in a car and the car is not going to give you the longevity you would need The car depreciates much faster.
Exactly.
Car and the house is property. You're a homeowner. You own a piece of the rock. I
Yeah,
said, with the house, you be able to buy the car. Get the house first.
that's
See,
bars.
but those are the things we should be teaching our people on
Yes.
an ongoing basis. And I mean, it goes more than just that.
Yeah, because because what you're
Those
saying
are
is
the things we
true.
should be doing, but we should be doing this on our own.
We
Yes.
do it. We do it on our own. But the difference between some black people being doing good and black people as a people doing good, that's the difference. That it ain't that we ain't exposed to it as a group, as a people. It's not part of our culture. It's not part of our regular education. We ain't a part of that.
But
So it that
it
I'm sorry.
is for some of us. It is for some of us.
Yeah, for some, but it should be the norm. Like I said, I grew up in public housing,
But
and
who's
the
that up
stuff.
to though, Daryl? Like who only an individual can decide to be in the game or not. I mean, like the information is available now.
Then what? But it hasn't always been. The internet ain't that old.
No, it hasn't been. But
Okay,
it
so
is now.
we're building on stuff that was never built. No infrastructure. We can't compare today because I'll tell you right now. I have websites. I do affiliate marketing.
Hmm.
All right, so I build a website. I do a review on a treadmill. You like it, you buy it. I get a commission. That
Yeah.
wasn't available 20 years ago.
No.
So I'm saying the difference between some of us being successful and black people being successful compared to other groups is culture and what we're exposed to. And I've seen it, and you all know that we are not exposed to the same opportunities, the same education that other groups are. And they're even given the money to do these things. Not us.
You are right. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just adding that it's also a mindset.
Oh no, it's a mindset because we have to also like we have to have the type of we have black people have fixed mindsets. We don't have abundance mindset. And
Yeah, but there are a lot of black people that do.
no, there's a lot of black,
See,
but
that's what I'm trying
there's
to
not enough,
distinguish.
right? It has to be part of the culture.
That's what
Jews
I'm saying.
Jews culture is finance is part of faith, right? Your finance is part of your faith. Owning a home, having finance, that's part of faith. We need to check these Negro preachers because they teach our people to be poor. Jesus never meant you to be poor. Jesus never meant you to be poor. There was nothing poor about Jesus. If he was able to feed a whole crowd, it wasn't nothing poor about feet. It wasn't nothing. See, because we've been taught this, man, and we've been taught it, and it's been in our culture to be these things.
We're
And
saying the same thing.
right,
We're saying the same thing.
right, and we have to change. Man, 2025, 2024 was a year of exposure. A lot of people got exposed for who they are and what they are.
Definitely.
2025 has to be the year of awakening for Black people. In,
Yeah,
in,
they better.
in our finances, how we take care of our bodies. It has,
Yes.
it has to be an awakening because there's a lot
Absolutely.
of Black people that are just caught in the matrix. I got a job,
Absolutely.
I got a Gucci bag, I got
Yes.
this, and I got that, and they're just playing along. There's
So
a
you
lot
gonna
of
tell them
people.
to take a red or blue pill, huh?
Exactly.
Red or
There's a lot
blue.
of Negroes. There's a lot of educated Negroes in the when if you don't recognize
Blue pill.
that you work for a white man and got a Black job with your doctor's degree, then
Right.
then then
And
you're
that
not.
you're enslaved. I'm rewatching it. It's so funny you brought this up because I'm working with a group of young men who are in a predicament, and I'm trying to get them to think about decision making. So going forward, they're at least thinking about the decisions that they make because we're all here because of decisions, a series of decisions. So I'm watching The Matrix because I'm like, well, maybe I could use a little media. The blue pill was The Matrix.
Yeah,
The
That-
red pill was the truth.
exactly.
Am I the only one that never saw any of those movies? I
Yeah,
have
you
no
need to,
clue.
but you
I've
need to
never seen
you need to
any.
watch you how you think, Daryl. You'll understand it right off the bat.
Oh, you'll love it, Daryl. You will love it.
I gotta watch this movie because it's so much a part of our lexicon,
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
right?
Listen, and we are caught. We're caught, and even people with degrees and highfalutin positions, you're caught in the matrix because
Yeah.
because if you have to answer to a white man at the top, you're caught into the matrix. We
Yeah.
don't listen. What do we have?
That's right.
What do black
That's right.
people have? And then we want to fall into this storytelling. We are dooming our children.
Yeah.
We're dooming our children. Yeah, you got um life insurance and you got all that, but you just putting your children in the same position. If we don't start telling them by the time they're 15 or 16, like Charles was telling his grandchild, buy a house.
Right. Before a
Right,
car. A
right.
house before a car.
Yeah, see, and I'm doing that. I have a granddaughter. I have a granddaughter doing the same thing. I already got her a book on the credit score. I bought her a book on the credit score when she was 15.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
But
yeah,
but but
We're
see,
changing the dynamic. We are creating the culture.
yeah. But I mean, is it going to be too
Sorry,
late? The question is it going to be too late for us to do it? Because
Never
we
too
got to
late.
get these children to understand. Look, not only that, it was a reason why they had home economics in the school, and there was a reason why they pulled it out.
Yep.
I learned how to make peanut butter cookies.
Exactly. But it was all about understanding the importance of
No, I
family
get that.
structure and home. That's why they called it home economics.
Yeah,
Economics.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
There's a
Budgets. We
reason
learned
behind it.
about budgets,
But
shopping.
exactly,
Right. No,
exactly.
no,
Learn how to
you know,
learn how to pay your damn bills. Learn how to
Doctor
balance a checkbook.
Dr. Clark said, "We rise and fall with our institutions."
Right.
We can do our individual, your family's going to be fine, your kid, your grandkid, mine, and so forth. But for the masses, we have to have our own institutions where we teach about Elijah and Marcus and Harriet and Sojourner and Nikki, and you know what I'm saying? We have to do that.
Yep. That's why the book bans are so deadly and nobody's talking about it. But black people need to be buying books, not just digital downloads,
Right.
because going back to this conservatism of white supremacy, it's within their best interest that we don't know our history
Right.
because they don't want to feel bad, child. They are trying to do reverse DEI discrimination because they feel bad about their own history.
Yeah, but I mean, we
So they want to burn books.
but
Right.
we have to, and that's when our culture. That's when our culture, because we're the only ones talking about it. Jews teach their whole history in the house.
Right. Right. And a lot of groups do. Italians, there's a lot of stuff
I mean,
that
we
they only
still
pass
teach.
on to each other. It ain't
We
in their public schools.
we have to start teaching our history, but we got to start getting adults, grown ass men and women, to start reading books. How you going to teach your history to your children and you don't even read books?
Yeah, but Damon, is more than just that too. Also, it's those folk tales that are in our families that
Mhm.
should be passed on and passed along about how your great grandmother or grandfather, how they struggled to get to where they at, to allow your grandparents and either your mother and father today to be able to put you in the position where you can go to school and try to thrive. Those folk stories that among ourselves we don't share those things. I mean, it's so much history that's not outside of the house. That's right in the house. If people would just take the moment to sit down around the dinner table and
Love
share
that.
those stories.
Yeah,
Love
and you're absolutely right. But we have a culture now where grandma is with mama in the club.
Oh, stop it. You are so negative about
Grandma,
us.
grandma in the club with mama and the granddaughter.
Don't sleep. But grandpa's down in the corner smoking a joint with the homeboys.
Exactly. Exactly. So
We just gonna start with us, Damon. I mean, we
you
all
know,
grandparents right here.
work on black folks, right? And they have done, and the only way, just like being a drug addict, right? The only way you're gonna kick the habit is you have to admit it. Black people are still in denial.
Wow.
Black folks as a whole, we're still in denial. That on the whole, outside of what we have, our little bit of nothing, based on what's going on in the world, we're still in denial because we're still believing that you're fight well you're equal because you got no, you're not. No,
I
you're
don't
not.
see
That's
this world. I don't see this world because I'm looking at the millennials. I got to go back to the millennials. I'm looking at Pinky Cole, who has $100 million business making vegan food. I'm looking at Rihanna. And I know she's an entertainer, but she made her billions in the beauty industry. And I just see a lot of opportunity that black people are taking advantage of. I see black people like Simone Biles talking about mental health, more than the career. And Naomi Osaka went on and had a baby. I just see
no,
that.
no, there are examples, but we still have a culture that is not positively responding to the few examples that we have, because it has to be cultural. We have to begin to have these things: economic development, history, health, wellness, spirituality. It has to be in right now. Black culture is so broken.
I don't know what algorithm. Maybe it's my algorithm.
Well,
Black culture is broken.
it is. It is
Black culture is
extremely
broken.
sadly because you have black people who are saying they are not black. You just named Naomi Osaka. She said she's not black. So when our young black people hear these things, the first thing they come up with is, all right, she's not black, but me and her the same complexion, or
Right.
she's darker than I am. All right, damn, what the hell am I? So again, the confusion still goes on. The
Mhm.
issue is that it is about raising consciousness among ourselves, but
Yeah,
we still need to know where we came from and how we are going forward. The
absolutely.
new millennials, they should learn the past if they
Yeah,
take the time just to read or just to listen, and but they should be preparing us to move forward. I mean, our saddest thing about it is that, like everyone is saying, a little bit of it's tonight. It's about our own people pushing
yeah,
our own people forward, making sure our people have something to thrive off, uh,
right.
financing ourselves, whether we are just shopping from our own stores, but the stores can't rob us either now.
Yeah,
That's another part to it.
right.
So these are the things we lost. For instance, we talked about New York City. You don't even have Harlem anymore. They want to change the name to Upper Central Park.
Oh no.
Yeah, because
This
you
is
know
what
what?
I'm saying. So
You right, because white folks took it over.
Uh,
it's been gentrified. So what we did have has been taken, but you know what the most part about it? We gave it away. We give
Right.
it away. Here, I'll share a quick story, and then I'm going to shut up and not because it's almost time.
Yeah, yeah, it's time to get.
Yeah, a friend of mine owned a 5-story brownstone in Brooklyn, right downtown area, right around the corner from the Barclays Center, a few blocks over. The building is probably worth, when put it this way, when he had it at the time, it was worth 2.6 million. He wanted to sell it, and I told him why. I said, "Man, how many kids you got in the family again?" He told me he got it. He had a bunch of kids. I said, "Yo, why aren't you keeping that for generational wealth
mm,
for your family?" He said, "Nah, man, I don't want to be a landlord." I said, "You got grown kids.
Yeah.
Come manage it. Just take what you need to move and go, but let the kids manage it. But keep the house in the family."
Right.
His mother gave it to him, debt free,
Wow.
debt
He,
free,
and he didn't want it.
and he was willing to sell it. He sold it for 2.6, and the people who bought it were white. They flipped it and sold it for
Oh,
$4 million. And that's the saddest thing about it. So, but these are the things we are doing to ourselves.
right.
When if he needed the money that bad, he could have took what he needed out of it and just mortgage it and still kept the building going
It's
forward.
the mentality.
But again, we are constantly giving it away.
Yeah.
And this is all ages, all whether you Generation X or baby boomers, we are all giving it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Jay-Z talks about it in one of his songs. You know, he had an opportunity to buy a building in Dumbo, and it was 1.5 million, and now the building's worth what, 10 million. You know, you know. So I mean, it we have to learn.
Listen,
Some of us take it as long as some of us take years to get it and a lot of mistakes. You know, and some of us don't get it at all. But the key is we got to start teaching it, you know, to our young people. You know, we got to start teaching it to our young people. Tasha,
we're on the verge of the greatest wealth transfer.
stay positive. That's right. We got to put it in the atmosphere because some of these Negroes, you got to beat it into them because they just don't get it, man. But we it's that time, and I want to thank Dow Davis. He had to log off. Charles, Tasha, you know, we're going to be doing something, me, Charles, and Corey, coming up soon, talk about a lot of this police stuff and the craziness that's going on in NYPD. Lord have mercy. It's just out of control.
But put it this way, I'll say one thing, Natasha. If you want your dreams to come true, don't sleep.
That's right.
Exactly.
Stay woke.
Yeah. And you know, and we white folks done took that. I'm so pissed off.
They're
that-
so corny with it. They're so
and-
corny.
And I wrote that article. You know, white liberals hijacked our word woke. You know, and no, they did, and I hate. And what pisses me off when you hear some of these racist ones on the right. Oh, we're going against the woke agenda. We're going against this, and we're going to woke this and the woke
This
that.
is so whack.
And I'm like, oh my God, man! Like, and we got to tell, and sooner or later, it has to be a national conversation with white liberals. Y'all have some things y'all got to stop.
Yeah.
Some things y'all got to stop. Straight music.
Oh yeah.
Some things y'all have to stop.
Yep.
You know. Anyway, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank in 2025. Oh man, everything cut off. Oh well.
It's still recording.
Then where did I go? Hold on a second.
I still see.
Yeah. Oh, this messed up. Okay. One of my other computers messed up. So I gotta look this way now. I'm not disrespecting anybody, but I got a lot of terminals going on here. So thank y'all, and we're about to be out of here. Y'all have a good time. Enjoy your Christmas. We're out of here.
Enjoy the holidays.
This holiday season, give the gift of health at unbeatable prices. Vita Health Nutrition's Black Friday sale is here. Stock up on premium vitamins and supplements for up to 25% off. That's right, 25% off all products. From immune support to peak performance, we've got you covered. Premium multivitamins, advanced protein formulas, essential omega-3s, and much more. We never compromise on quality. Every product is made in FDA-registered facilities. Third-party lab tested, GMP certified, 100% manufactured in the USA. Don't miss out. Black Friday deals start now. All products are 25% off using code VITA25, your trusted partner in wellness. Shop now at vitahealthnutrition.us. Wait a minute. For our Black Westchester family, you get an extra 20% off. With code BW20, that's 45% off for your health and wellness. Vita Health Nutrition and Black Westchester Magazine are committed to the health and wellness of our communities. Don't miss out on this special deal for the holiday season. That's a total of 45% off for our Black Westchester family. Take advantage of this deal while it lasts. This
is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the black point of view.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare.